What's up guys, DuArktik here with another Raid the Shadow Legends video. In this video we are back to talk about Sanguine Maria, because it seems that, yeah, people hate her. And I'm not sure if this is like a fair judgment for the character, because she's not that bad, right? Especially when you have into consideration that she's a PvP specialist. And because of that, well, most of the value you are going to see in PvP. But even there, she has very low reviews, like 3.5, 3.3, or 3.0 on arena defense. This is a big problem. This is because or people don't understand how our kit works, or they cannot make the most out of it. And I'm going to be honest, at the beginning I was like this too. I was like playing around with her abilities and I was not able to use them properly. But now after a couple of days of practice, it's a lot better. Campaign locations, faction wars, I still didn't have the chance of using her in faction wars. Even that was my goal. So I have not seen that yet, but I don't expect to be a 3, to be honest. Once again, I think it's a problem because people don't know exactly when to use the abilities of her. Fire Knight, okay, I can understand that. Even that Fire Knight normal should be fine. So the problem for Hydra is that she needs someone with X. If you have someone with X, and if you are prioritizing the abilities properly, you might find her actually very useful. We're gonna try to get some footage of that. Minotaur Labyrinth, Chimera, yeah, Chimera, she's trash. Minotaur, she can solo Minotaur fine, I'm not sure why it's so low. Dragon's Lair, again, I don't get it, because she does strong AoE for the waves, and she also does strong single target damage for the boss. Sand Devil, Necropolis, I get it. Magic Keep, Spider's Den, Spider Den, maybe. Void Keep, Demon Lord, yeah, sure, Demon Lord, she takes way too many turns, and I guess it becomes a problem. Iron Twins, yeah, she's not gonna be great. Force Keep, Spirit Ice Golem, Phantom Shogun, yeah, I would say that, sure, around that, a 3, on the red, on a 2, I'm not sure if she's that bad. Even without gear, even without like having stellar gear, she does still pretty solid. And again, having a 3 in arena offense and arena defense is definitely not the case. Okay, so in this video, we're going to take a look at Maria in action, things you should be paying attention to her to make the most out of her, and then hopefully I can change your mind, because this is definitely a character that you should not feel pain for unlocking, because she's actually a very, very strong character. So as always, if you like the information on these videos, make sure you share it to your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe for more Raid Shadow Legends content, and make sure you smash that like button like a boss. Okay, let's start with Maria. So you can see that my gear for her is kind of trashy. She doesn't even have 5000 HP. But something I'm gonna say is that having extra defense and HP for her, I meant attack here. So having extra HP and defense for her might be nice, because she needs that survivability whenever her passive is not active. And sometimes the 66% will feel as strong as the 99% if you have a decent amount of defense and HP. Then in terms of the crit chance, crit damage, it's the usual, as high as you can. And then in terms of the speed, I made mine a little bit slower, because you want to make sure that she's buffed, right? You want to make sure that she's buffed, and in case we need some debuffs on the enemies, it's better for her also to be a little bit slower. Probably 240, 250 would be the sweet spot, but yeah. Then in terms of resistance, I don't think she needs resistance, because she takes so many turns that her buffs will expire anyway. So unless you are using resistance to stop negative effects, but stopping the enemies from removing your buffs, it's kind of irrelevant. But yeah, this becomes irrelevant if you are using Stone Skin, right? So Stone Skin prevents the negative effects, and you are not expecting the buffs to be removed anyway. So that's my point on there. Maybe a little bit of resistance and accuracy. Accuracy, I would say it's still fine to consider, because you need accuracy on that A3. The A3, you definitely need some accuracy, unless you have the perfect setup for the buffs. And once again, this comes down to how you are building your team, how you are building your setup. Is she going to get 3 buffs on her turn? Probably yes, probably no. So if that's not the case, then you are making more problems for you. Okay, so Something that you can see is that you are using Instinct for additional speed and ignore defense. We have 4-piece Stone Skin and we have 1 piece of Pinpoint for the extra accuracy, which is fine. It was on this chest that has good attack and speed and so on, so we had to use it. In terms of Relic, oh my god, I can't believe I'm not even using a Relic for her. Oh, this is crazy. Okay, so we are still not using a Relic for her. What can you use for her? I would say that, sure, you can use the wand. Everyone can use a wand, right? I have plenty of wands that I don't use. Of course, you can use the Malefic Talon. That's going to be fine too. She does solid crit chance, crit damage, and so on. And that's pretty much it. You could also play around with this one and try to get a Veil on her to protect her after the second turn and so on. But yeah, it's not something too crazy to think about. And if you're going for any gems, of course, you want to prioritize the circular gems with extra speed, which I don't have any anymore. Yikes. And because you want her to go fast when she finally gets her turn, right? Okay, so in terms of the books, as you guys can see, I have not booked her, but maybe you should consider just booking the damage and ignoring the cooldown, because you are not going to need the cooldowns if you are using her in PvP, right? If you're using in PvP, you are not going to need those books, but you're definitely going to enjoy the damage. The damage is always important. If you decide to go for the books, you should go for this ability, for the blue one, the A3, because this is the ability that will allow you to count how many turns you have, because it's the ability you usually want to use on the first turn. So you can use this ability to count the amount of turns you have. And as soon as you have the cooldown, you know for sure, okay, I'm on the third turn. So yeah, we're gonna clear all we're gonna do all these extra things, right? This ability is also very powerful, and you can also use it early. You are not going to do 99 ignore defense and stone skin and whatever, but if you use this ability on the first turns, you can still lock out your enemies, right? It's like Fabian. Of course, like I said, if you're gonna use it a little bit slow, this is not gonna be the case, but it can still mess up your opponents on their second wave. So this is something that you need to learn, is how to use her in terms of rotation. If your enemies have buffs, you are going to use the A3 and clear the buffs away. If they have buffs, but you are also concerned about their second abilities, use the A3 and you chain for the A2, because the A1, it's not a guaranteed turn. So this is a problem that, yeah, she has 33% chance of getting an extra turn and she attacks 3 times, but many times she actually doesn't have the second turn after this, and it's terrible. That's why sometimes you don't want to risk it and just go for these, lock out your enemies, and then you'll be fine. And finally, the A1, which is fine. It does okay damage. The damage is actually very low on the A1. And they nerfed it, right? They nerfed it, so yeah, kind of trash nowadays, especially in PvP. Even in PvP is not great, but yeah. Lightning Cage for the Aura, this will help you, making sure that you have those 3 buffs. And of course, it all depends on how you set up your team. Are you going to play her together with the Arbiter? Are you going to play her together with a Freya? With April O'Neil? Are you going to play her with Eostrid? At the end of the day, it all comes down to how you build your teams. And if she's not performing for you, it's probably because you are building your team wrong. In the past, I was using April and Freya, and this ability applies 1 buff, but you already have Stone Skin, you already have Lightning Cage, so you already have 3 buffs, right? So you have to decide if you are just going to use the A2 of April O'Neil, or if you're going to use the A3. If you use the A3, then you lose the value on Maria. If you don't, you still hold the value on Maria, and you still do with April fine. It's just not as good because you will not have the extra accuracy. So again, it all comes down, Maria being good, it all comes down to your decisions. If you're going to make her good or not, it's all based on your actions. In terms of the masteries, this is what I'm using. I'm using Cycle of Violence for extra cooldowns, even that I'm not sure if it really matters. A Life Drinker, I think it's important to get some healing back on her. This one probably a waste, probably if I would reset this, I would go for Grim Resolve. Even that, either way, it doesn't really matter. Helm Smasher, always for this type of characters. Here, this one, the counter attack, so she does not get extra turns from the counter attack, which I think it's obvious. And again, the damage of the basic is really, really low. So I'm not sure if I would change these for extra HP on the support tree or something like that, because she also does not benefit a lot from the support tree anyway. But maybe we could use the Stoker to Fury, where her damage increases based on any negative effects she has, because this one, like I said, it's fine, but 20% is not that often. And if this happens to your allies, that's a very bad sign, right? That's a very bad sign. So in terms of results, like I've been having some very good results with her for Arena, for Team Arena, for Live Arena, everywhere. So let's see, we have her on defense, right? We have her on defense. You have to set up the AI based on what your team does. So once again, because my team has Freya and April O'Neil, I want to make sure that one of them buff and the other one doesn't, because otherwise, well, you're going to mess up the Sanguine Maria, and she's not going to be able to clear negative effect or positive effects from the enemies, right? So you have to pay attention to those details. If you are not, of course, she's not going to work out fine for you. So in terms of my defense, you can see that we are getting some defeats. This was when I had the turtles, so don't get mistaken by this one, but this one is with this team that you see right now on the screen. So again, around 50% chance of winning, which for some people might not be enough. I understand that, but it depends on where you are in the game, right? If you are someone that is new to the game, if you are someone that you just unlocked her, 50% win ratio on defense, with a character that supposedly is bad on defense, without even without relics, it's not that bad. And on offense, of course, on offense, we are winning a ton as well. Of course, you have to pick your matches, but you can see difficult matches like, for example, against this girl that, I don't remember her name. But she applies block damage to everyone, and Maria can remove those buffs or bypass them on their third turn. So it's just something that we have to pay attention to and make the most out of it. So that's in a normal arena. On Team Arena, you can see that I'm also using her on the second team. The second team is very weak. It's not my most reliable team, but still we are doing fine. So it's the team in the middle. You can see here that they won here. They won here as well, even against Hegemon and this one. So again, it's not amazing by any means, but it all depends on what you put next to her. If you're going to put something that takes advantage of her abilities, she's going to be fine. If not, well, it's understandable. And here you can see on offense that we are pretty much winning everything. So if your defense is winning on a 50-50% and then you are winning on 100% on offense, that should be fine, right? That's why we are going for a silver 4. Even that Team Arena used to be very annoying. I hated Team Arena in the past, but now that I have good characters that can compete against all these mythicals and so on, now Team Arena feels a lot better. I actually get excited every day to play Team Arena, and you can see that I even need refreshes to get more gold bars and so on. And this is something important for the future, right? Because you can get sacred shards out of Team Arena, and that's something very solid. In terms of Live Arena, you can see here the battle logs. I use her pretty much as often as I can. So once again, we have that 50% right here. Here we don't use her. Here we use and we lose. This one was a very fast Makage. I was kind of triggered about that. Here the Fabian. Fabian is also a problem. Because I don't have like strong chronophage gear, otherwise it will no longer be a problem. But you can see here that we were able to win 3 matches in a row. And here we had a triple mythical we were able to win, and here we had double mythical and we were able to win as well. So once again, you can get some good results with her if you learn to play with her. And yes, she's a little bit difficult to learn how to play with her, but as soon as you learn how to play with her, as soon as you get decent stats that she can take advantage of, she's going to be a massive character to your roster. So don't focus on these reviews because they are absolutely wrong. She's way better than this, and this is definitely very misleading. And once again, for Arena Office, Arena Defense, Live Arena, Team Arena, and so on, this is absolutely wrong. She's absolutely a 5 in both of those places. Let's take a look at Maria in action in Hydra, see what's up. This is on hard difficulty. Let's see what she can do for a few minutes and see what we can expect with her. You want to prioritize the A2 and the A3, of course. but you want to make sure that on the first turn she's starting with a basic. Very important. Start with a basic, then do the A3 and then the A2. I think like this you're gonna be able to max out the potential of her cooldown. So keep that in mind. Like I said, you always want to pair up with someone with X, so she does some additional damage. You saw it there, 150,000 AoE damage, and she still has no relic, which would be very important here for sure. Okay, we're gonna let this roll for a few minutes. You can see once again very strong AoE from Maria. Maria AoE ability, the A3, is not affected by which turn she is. It is affected by how many buffs you have, but that just makes the ability unresistible, right? So that's the main point. You can still get some solid AoE out of her if you are prioritizing the abilities properly, if you have a champion, at least one champion, with cooldown reduction like Donatello. You saw there 300k on the Hydra had decapitated without decreased defense, so once again that's pretty solid. Let's see if we can attack it with her A2. She's doing solid damage there with a basic. Wow, look. Okay, that was not rash. Okay, that was not rash. So again, I don't get why she's getting so bad reviews. Again, it all comes down to how you set up your team and how it's prioritizing the buffs. So you saw there 500,000. Again, she has no relics and she has really trash gear. Okay, so we are back. As you guys can see, we are doing a little bit under 10 million per minute, which is not amazing. But again, with the gear we have and without books and anything like that, we can't expect miracles, right? We have to be coherent with our expectations, and that's pretty much it. So I think that as soon as you book her a little bit stronger, put a decent relic on her, level 9 at least, she's gonna do some solid damage. And she was hit by the snake, so I guess she has the most crit damage since she was the first to be hit. Also, it depends on the rotation, right? Some rotations she might be better if they have more magic and force than spirit, and that's something that always influences how your characters perform. So overall, doing around 8 million per minute, it's not amazing, but it's definitely solid for, once again, a character without any books. Let's run a quick battle just to see how far we can reach without interference. Let's see if we can reach the maximum amount of turns. Okay, that's surprising. Okay, so she did 50 million and Michelangelo did 68 million with X setup and debuff setup. So it's not amazing, but that's pretty solid. In terms of Donatello damage, it's higher than usual because I have a very strong damage build for him. So yeah, again, without books, without relic, with a blessing that is for PvP, I don't think it's that bad. But you guys let me know in the comments below what you think. So there you go, guys. That was Sanguine Maria for you. Is she as bad as the reviews say? Probably not. Probably not. I think they are slightly better than they show. For example, here on Hydra, I would put maybe a 4 because not only she's doing damage, she's also removing buffs from the enemies, which is extremely important. That's why we're able to do the 1000 turns, is because she's removing those reflect damage from the Hydras, which is very important, for example. But you guys let me know in the comments below if you agree or disagree, if you tried Sanguine Maria in other places and you found some usefulness for her. And that's going to be the video. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, if you find this video helpful, make sure you share it to your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe for more Raid Shadow Legends content. And I'll catch you guys later.